the sun is high, we're feeling good. In Miami where the spirit's understood. With Bobby Finstock leading the crew, we're gonna show you what these Dolphins do. Fans up high, the crowd's roaring loud. In the city with the blue and aqua proud. Finstock's here with the play-by-play. We're getting ready, it's game day. Are you ready for some football? Miami Dolphins standing tall. Are you ready for some football? Showtime at the Hard Rock, y'all. From the tailgate to the field of green, with the best fans you ever seen. Bobby's got the scoop, hot off the press. In Miami, we roar to impress. Play up stats and pregame chat.
Good morning, Miami Dolphin fans. Welcome to the Miami Dolphins pregame show. I'm Bobby Finstock, joined by Finstanza. The Miami Dolphins, Week 14, taking on the New York Jets at Hard Rock Stadium. Dolphins is a must-win game as they keep their slim playoff hopes alive. So much to talk about. Before we get into it, though, Evan, Canadian bread, Finstanza, what is
no
up,
one here,
man?
Oh, I'm doing great. Had a great time with Will of 305 Sports on Friday night talking Panthers. Then we always slip into Hurricanes and the Dolphins a little bit. I have snow on the ground. Had to clean my car for a little bit this morning because I can only fit one car in my garage. No, none of my cars are running. I promise you. None of my cars are running. I won't be running away. I'm very organized today. I promise. I'm very excited today, Bobby. I'm looking forward to the Dolphins cementing the division today. No, wait.
Oh,
I'm waiting for the Dolphins to cement a playoff spot today at some point and continue their path. No, wait. I'm waiting for Mike McDaniel to be an improved head coach from the rookie season. No, wait. I'm waiting for Chris Greer to see that offensive line that he said for none of us to worry about. Wait, we have Eichenberg and Jones. And, I'm waiting for our running game to appear. No, wait. We're averaging under 3 yards a carry. I'm waiting for Devon Achane, the best receiving running back in the NFL, to run the ball today. No way, he can't run the ball right now. Raheem Mostert's out today probably, so maybe we'll see some Jalen Wright.
Oh, he's out.
Jeff Wilson.
He's out.
He will be. I think he's going on IR.
Yeah.
All I can tell you is all these wonderful things of improved special teams. Congratulations to my buddy Jason Sanders for winning AFC Special Teams Player of the Month. Congratulations. You didn't kick any winning kicks, but you were perfect in everything that you did except for last week. They must have not counted last week because you kicked 10 days ago because you kicked the ball not into the end zone on a touchback. You gave them a chance to run it back 50 yards. So I would have – anyways, I'm very excited. Well, no, wait. We're 5-7. We have to make up 3 games on the Broncos. It's nice to be here. We're playing the Jets. We thought today would be an important game, but we're heading into the month of December. Is the month of December been friendly to the Dolphins in our past? No, it hasn't been. Is it a beautiful day in South Florida? Yes, it is. But the last time Tua Tagovailoa faced Aaron Rodgers, it was a great first half, not a great second half. And I know it's the beat-up Jets, but like you always say, Bobby, a divisional game is a divisional game. So you want to know what? Even without potentially Sauce Gardner and without potentially Breece Hall, I don't take this game for granted. We see that what happens when we face these teams. How am I doing? I'm happy to be with you. I'm happy to be on the Finstock Sports Network. But you want to know what? To be a Dolphins fan right now is really, really embarrassing.
Way to start it off.
But I'm in good mood. I'm smiling.
Well, George of the Fitz Faithful podcast is in the house. Shout out to George. Brett Lagasse, co-host. Sometimes with overtime. Hopefully he got to see the first episode.
Oh, did he see that? Brett,
I hope
watch
he sees the intro. If he has, I hope he sees the intro.
Best intro ever. Brett,
we will split with it. So here's Brett. I'll just say straight up. All season before the season, I said Miami's going to split the series with the Jets. That still could be the case. I will. I'm with Stando. I don't sleep on the Jets, and I will say though, for today especially, Miami better not lose to the Jets. That is for sure. Miami cannot lose, but they better not lose to a team like the Jets with Breece Hall, Sauce Gardner out, and
Braylon Allen's no joke.
No, absolutely no. Braylon Allen,
with that offensive lineman who might be out, he's questionable. He was picked in the draft. Is it?
I know who you're
He
talking
was a
about.
top guy. I can't pronounce.
Yeah,
it.
Alu Fushanu.
Foshanu. Yeah, he was a top. He was a first round pick.
Yeah.
Warren
CJ Mosley's on IR. Listen, again, not because, this is a game. Like, obviously, you never could sleep on an Aaron Rodgers. Devontae Adams is still there. Could they find? Yeah, absolutely. But at Hard Rock, I'm just saying like this, and we'll move on. At Hard Rock, those top players being out, this team a total mess and embarrassment of themselves. So I'm an embarrassment. They're imploded. They fired their head coach. They fired the head coach prematurely. They fired their GM. Okay,
not prematurely.
Aaron Rodgers. They roll with Aaron Rodgers. He's their guy. They're going to do it. They make a big trade for Devontae Adams. They're still 3-9. There is no way Miami should lose this game today.
Can I ask you a question? If they lose this game today, Bobby, I want this on record. If they lose the game today, will you finally be on my side and say, it's time? I know we want continuity. I want continuity at the head coaching position. We all know where we stand with Greer. Greer needs to be gone because what he's done with that offensive line, you see what's happened to the running game the last couple of weeks. He should be fired just for that. Just for that. It's deplorable. But with what's going on with special teams, if they lose to the 3-9 Jets at home, are you finally going to be on the path that Mike McDaniel has run out of excuses? Because the problem for me right now, which is frustrating for me, is they don't have one tough game left because the Texans are an easy AFC South, and it's a dome game. They don't have anything tough. They're going to go face the Cleveland Browns, who stink, but in the cold. So we're going to take rid of the cold narrative, but they can't be good teams. So they don't have one great team to play. They don't have one strong team left, maybe the Texans. So the narrative, no matter what happens, even if they win 5 in a row now, doesn't change the narrative of the last 3 years that they're 1-15 against really good teams and really bad in cold weather. So that's the sad part about the rest of the season, is this should be a cakewalk for them. But if they lose this game today in front of their fans, are you now going to finally say, with me, pounding the table, that Mike McDaniel should be fired?
So you haven't been watching the shows this week?
I have.
You've watched East 10th Street Boys?
Yes.
Okay, no, what happened?
Do you want him gone? Alex is the only one who has excuses. And Petro, I know Will's also still a little bit of a positive guy. He liked McDaniel. You're the negative Nancy of McDaniel right now.
Yeah, so I don't know why you're asking me that.
No, but I'm asking you because you haven't done it on our pregame show. So very often people come on this show. I'm just asking, all I'm saying to you, what is your definition of McDaniel today as the Dolphins head coach if he loses today?
Oh, dude. First off, it's not even about the loss. It's about the what's going on with this team. I mean, you have your own coaches now answering about the team being soft. Did you hear John Embry
admitted they were soft?
Yeah, I shout out to John Embry. I have a lot of respect. I know. I know he called.
I didn't call you negative.
You just said negative Nancy. You called me the negative Nancy of McDaniel.
No, no, I'm proud of you.
Oh, well, it's not about it. First, here's the truth, though. There's a difference, and it's not negative to be realistic. Okay,
I was called negative.
Well, you really drum that beat. I'm not saying it, but
you
drummed
the beat for Greer as much as I drew it for McDaniel for 3 years.
That's realistic. Greer should have been fired 3 years ago.
Agree.
I understand Scotty's point. Scotty is, when you were talking about Will's point. I get it. Not to recycle every 3 years, whatever. But really, the team has not done that. That's not true. The team has not done it every 3 years because they haven't done a rebuild or a teardown because they've kept the GM and they fired a coach. The Dolphins have not done that. Greer should have been fired a long time ago. The way this roster was constructed and put together was malpractice. And it's, because people are going to say, yeah, that, but McDaniel is not the GM. Let him have a new GM and let's see how it plays out there. McDaniel has as much to do with this roster, and to pretend that he doesn't is you're putting your blinders on as Greer. McDaniel could have easily have said, you know what? Yes, let's go draft this guy to back up Tua, or let's go sign this guy to back up Tua, or let's go. Hey, I need to secure my up because Chris Greer knows his job is on the line with McDaniel. He's married to McDaniel. So, you look at, first of all, here's a prime example. They were going to trade Calais Campbell. That's the report. Who stopped the trade? McDaniel. So don't say McDaniel doesn't have a say on his own roster. Greer is working with McDaniel. This ain't Flores and Greer. So this roster is easily is primed to put on blame to McDaniel as much as it is to
You respond
Chris
to this?
Greer.
Because I don't agree with it. I love Scotty. Scotty, it's all in good fun, but I don't agree with this.
Fire. No, I know Scotty's.
You agree with this?
No, I don't. No. The only thing I do in that sense, to make
you're going to appreciate this,
the Wills and the Scotties of the world, to make them feel better, is fire Greer first. Go get your GM and give the GM the power. If you're going to say I can't fire McDaniel because I don't want to do this again every 3 years, even though now my own players are calling my team soft and my coaches are calling my team soft, and we haven't done anything on offense realistically since 2 years ago. We were the number one offense in the NFL from one game, and now we haven't done really anything. And guess what? He's not only the coach of the offense, he's the coach of the entire team. But everybody, but the defense sucks. He's the coach of the defense too. He's the head coach. He's a representation. He leads his team. When you're failing, it goes to representation of you. So, no, I don't agree. If you fire one, you got to fire the other. But if to make the Scotties and the Wills and the so forth happy, make Alex to make them feel better in the world, fire Greer, hire GM, and you don't say to the GM, you have to stay with McDaniel because we don't want to fire a coach every 3 years. You have to stay with him. Work it out. Bullcrap. Then you're doing exactly what the Dolphins have been doing every 3 years, and you're okay with mediocrity. You're okay with the same old, same old. Don't do that.
I had an interesting
You tell your GM, if you don't want to fire McDaniel because you're too chicken crap and you love mediocrity and you're making excuses, just pretending this team is going to fix itself with the same heads. You tell him, Evan, I'm going to hire you as the new general manager, but you are going to make the decision on McDaniel. Sit down with him. Maybe, you figure it out like, you know what? Damn. Okay. Actually, yeah, I could work it out with him. We could share the same vision. All right. It's on you. You keep him. That's going to be your coach. Okay. Now, if you go in there and you come back and go, nah, I don't see it. Mike, thank you for everything. You come back to me, I'm the owner, and you say, Bobby, we're going to let McDaniel go. We're going to go a whole nother direction. 100%. You do you. If that's going to make them feel better because then you gave them a chance, cool.
This is all Nick Saban's fault.
But no, you don't straight up say, we're going to hire a new GM, but no, we have to keep the coach. We're going to keep the coach. No.
It's all Nick Saban's fault. It's all Nick Saban's fault, right?
Fire one, fire the other. That's where I stand right now.
Don't you blame Nick Saban for all this?
I don't.
The joke. No, because I don't know if you heard what he said about the fact. I don't know if you saw that on Friday. Pat McAfee, what he said, how when he was talking about Ben Johnson taking potentially the Chicago job, to be very careful because when he took the Miami job, he was over the cap, this and that. But he's the one who chose Dante Culpepper over Drew Brees. Like if we look back on it, if we had Drew Brees, Nick Saban might still be our head coach. Like a lot of decisions are weird. But the one take I had on Thursday night, Bobby, which I wanted to get your opinion on when I was on with Greg, is the reason why I have such a difficult time accepting McDaniel anymore is the blueprint of the San Francisco 49ers. The San Francisco 49ers have gotten to the NFC Championship. They've gotten to the Super Bowls. If you look at Kyle Shanahan, he's cost his team, whether it's the Falcons or the San Francisco 49ers, 3 Super Bowls with his play calling, which is what Mike McDaniel seems to do a lot. But if you look at their team, they have tried to build similarly, the Mike McDaniel-esque team, and it hasn't worked. And if you look, and they got old, San Francisco, and now San Francisco's at the end of their rope right now. Even with McCaffrey and Williams getting injured, Bosa getting injured, they're suffering through the same thing McDaniel is, but we haven't even accomplished what the San Francisco 49ers are doing. But if you continue down the path of what the 49ers tried to do, you're going to end up in the same boat as them. Shanahan is potentially at the end of his rope with winning a Super Bowl because they don't know what to do with Purdy. They have the same difficulty right now because Purdy got injured this year. He is not overcoming the losses of Ayuk and McCaffrey. And there's the same thing that happened with Tua, but Tua is more injury prone, and we gave him the bag. And now, do we regret it yet? Now, Tua has nice stats, so does Purdy, but do you give him that $50-something million just because you want to have a quarterback? They have the same difficult decisions. I feel that if you look at the 49ers blueprint, this window isn't going to end well. The window is going to close very, very, very quickly if they don't change it up really, really quickly. Because Shanahan, everyone thinks Shanahan's this phenomenal coach. He's a good coach, but what does he want? Yes, he's gotten through the playoffs. He's done this. But when he's gotten there, he's crapped the bed. Not once, not twice, because he hasn't learned from his mistakes. Look at the game in San Francisco, the game in Buffalo. It looked like I was watching the Miami Dolphins play football. But the funny part is the Miami Dolphins would have been better in the cold than the 49ers would have been on Thursday night. By the way, one key stat for you, side note, Mike McDaniel and Cam Cameron share something very, very important in our record. Cam Cameron was 1-15 in his 1 year here in Miami. Was he 1-15? Mike McDaniel is 1-15 against winning franchises. So all I can tell you is that Mike McDaniel is in the same boat as Cam Cameron, where he has this 1-15 record.
Let me just say this.
That's an indictment. I don't care who's on your roster. To be 1-15 against good teams, that is very bad coaching. That is extreme, because in a lot of these games, if you look back at the Buffalo game in the snow, or you look at all the games that we have lost, close games in cold weather, or we've been outplayed, you look back at the management, look back at last week. You and I talked about it 2 weeks ago, how they should have gone down there 3 days before and gotten accustomed to. So Malik Washington, a rookie 6th-round running receiver, knew how to catch a windy ball. No, well, of course not. It's 4th and 4. You're standing next to the ref. Let's take a delay of game penalty. You almost had to punt it, and then they gave you back to 4th and 4 because Green Bay took a penalty. The management of the game, the organization of the game, it doesn't work. Look at Austin Jackson goes down. Kendall Lamb is not used to playing right tackle. He's more of a left tackle. They're not comfortable with Patrick Paul there yet. So he's been one of the worst. If you look at Kendall Lamb this year, if he was playing left tackle, we wouldn't have concerns. At right tackle, he's been awful. Our zone running has gone to crap. Since Austin Jackson went down. There's no depth. So there's no adjustment. So it's an indictment on McDaniel. It's an indictment on Frank Smith. It's an indictment on Butch Berry. It's an indictment on Chris Greer, Danny Crossman, like the safety position. Think about this, Bobby. How many secondary players have we drafted? How bad is our secondary? And what kind of a punch in the ass is the fact that last Thursday, Jordan Poyer could not tackle anything. But then at the same time, do you know who got an interception, a very key interception on Sunday for the Chargers? Do you know who caught a very key interception? Do you know what his name is?
Yeah, Marcus May, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Why is it? Very interesting. Very interesting.
Look, I'm going to say this because I see Tua's name being brought up in comments and just brought it up now. Just like I was saying, Tua's contract wasn't the biggest deal. It was the backup quarterback position. I'm going to say this. The Dolphins' issues are bigger than Tua Tagovailoa. Let's stop pretending.
Much bigger.
Let's stop pretending. Okay, you can keep
bigger.
McDaniel and Greer and go get another quarterback starting.
Won't change
and this
anything.
team ain't going to do a damn thing.
I'm
going to say it like this. And those who know me, Brett, Scotty, Evan, you know where I stand. So when I say this, don't get mixed up. The Dolphins could win a Super Bowl with a healthy Tua Tagovailoa at quarterback.
Yes, they can.
They could win a Super Bowl. They could win a playoff game with Tua Tagovailoa at quarterback, a healthy one. We know what the health issue is. I'm not saying anything shocking here in regards of, what does this mean? The Dolphins could do it. He's not the problem. He has problems. We know what our concerns are. But the Dolphins could win. It's the foundation of this team that's what's going to stop it. It's the GM. It's the coach. when you have, again, a veteran leader on your defense who just came from another organization, comes over, calls your team soft, and then you have your two coaches, Weaver and Embry, now answering questions. And Embry, credit to him, I have a lot of respect for him right now. I like him a lot. He comes out and goes, does the shoe fit? If you don't like it, change the narrative. Basically paraphrasing. Look, let's give out flowers here for a second. Said this on Embry should have been fired long ago. Scotty. We're gonna fire all the little pieces on the side, but we're not gonna fire the guys who's leading it. Let's fire Crossman. Let's fire Fangio. Let's fire Embry.
Jonathan Smith has been fine. Yes, Julian Hill. He doesn't make the player evaluations. Embry is tied to McDaniel because he was his first hire as the assistant head coach. Now, to say what he said, at least Mike McDaniel, the moron that he is, that's why I call him McMoron, comes up with the fact of what people are saying, and he goes, it's just noise. He is in denial. But I'm going to give you the number one fireable stat.
Well, okay.
Should I just give this to you, and I want you to take over? Go finish with your thought, and I want to give you the stat, and I want to get your opinion on. Go. I want to give you the stat. Go.
No, go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Fourth, they did this, Bobby, this season. Actually, yeah, this season and last season, but for sure this season. 3rd and 2. 3rd and 1. 4th and 2. 4th and 1. Name me the teams. Name me the 32nd ranked team in 4th and 2, 4th and 1, 3rd and 2, and 3rd and 1 this season. Can you name them? Do you know who the team is? It's pretty obvious. The Miami Dolphins. When it's 3rd and 2, 4th and 1, 4th and 2, when you saw Tom Brady, it was a guarantee. You see the Eagles, it's a guarantee. What do they do in Pittsburgh? They bring in Justin Fields. You see Patrick Mahomes, they find a way. The Miami Dolphins are in the dreck with the Patriots, the Panthers, and the Jaguars, and the Browns for the worst. They are by far, by a country mile, even compared to these teams, the worst short yardage team in the NFL with McGenius. He doesn't want to load the box because his answer was why he doesn't put Patrick Paul and load the box because we've never practiced it. You have Jeff Wilson and Jalen Wright, 2 power backs. Let's put our smallest effing running back up the middle. When it's 4th and 1, Dan Campbell, because he didn't want to give the ball back to the Green Bay Packers, went for it on 4th and inches. Okay? If we had 4th and inches, I'd be terrified. That is the biggest indictment on this head coach. You have all this talent on the offense, and you can't get a yard. You can get 10. You can get 20. You can't get 1. You have not figured out in 3 years how to get a yard. You're the worst team. It's unbelievable. You had the ball at the 1 in Green Bay. You had 4 attempts. You couldn't get over the freaking Raheem Mostert had 21 touchdowns last year. You didn't put him on the field. He is the worst head coach I've ever seen. How do you not figure that out?
Let me just say this.
It gets me so angry.
Let me finish my point.
Oh, sorry. I had to say it.
It's all right. So I'm going to say give the flowers, right? First off, we have the worst cards in the NFL. I don't blame McDaniel for that. I put it on Greer. Very quick. That's fine. Greer's the GM. He's in charge of plugging the players. But let's not forget, Scotty, talking about the draft. McDaniel said, I want edge rushers. I would judge edge rushers every year. Not guards, not tackles, not offense. Edge rushers. And you know me, I don't hate on Chop Robinson. Love the kid. Excited for him. Think he's going to be a big piece. He's looked good. Okay? But what did we do? We drafted Chop Robinson. McDaniel has a lot to say on this roster. Okay? I know you're saying, you're in the minority. I get it. It's all good. But try to open that up, brother, and realize that, no, McDaniel has much say on this roster as Greer. Greer is going to do what McDaniel's asking. He's not going to make any decision. Mine is probably this guy, Joe Alpanesol.
Let me ask you, those 2 players, they dominate football games. Yeah. They dominate their games.
Look at the Lions. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, let's give McDaniel's flowers. Let me do that very quick. Hold on. What is one thing What's probably the best thing McDaniel has done as a Dolphins head coach?
Give it to his confidence.
Okay, pause. There you go. Right?
Hire a psychologist.
He made Tua, he allowed Tua to be the best quarterback he's going to be. Right? He opened that up for Tua. We knew what Tua was. Everybody, we know, even if you had reservations on him, you knew what he could possibly be. The most accurate quarterback, he get, this, that. But we knew he was a shell. And then you hear what happened with Flores. And he broke his confidence like Ric Flair in WCW before he came to WWE.
Woo!
McDaniel comes over, and McDaniel says, you know what? I could do this. We could win with him. And he instills that confidence in Tua. And now Tua is viewed around the league as one of the top quarterbacks in football. He's just injury prone. McDaniel did that. He brought that out of Tua. All right. That's great. But now that's your claim to fame. But now you got to lead the whole football team. Guess what? Tua is not the only quarterback on your roster. You got to go bring that out of Skylar Thompson, Tyler Huntley. Those guys have regressed. Skylar's regressed in 3 seasons. You got to coach up your whole football team. Hugging and smooching and everything else on the sideline. One guy, you have a whole team that you need to be not in their face. You don't have to be but you should be able to get your team not to play mentally soft. I mean, it's not a good look. So here's the flowers. He made Tua Tua already had the talent. He just brought it out, and he gave Tua that confidence. Now, you go get a guy who could actually use that confidence for the right reason. Because we go, we're never going to win with Tua at quarterback. Teams have won with less at quarterback. Let's not pretend that Tua, Evan could say every day, McDaniel's the worst coach. And until McDaniel proves anybody wrong, because he hasn't won anything, he's basically been the same. They've dropped off at this time frame. This year they were low, and they go like that, and then they went back low. They're literally on life support. It's a heart meter.
That's what the Dolphins do, though. The Dolphins swim like this.
No, usually they go like this.
No, we go like
now
this.
It's just this. But, and look, right here, Tua dumpster, Tua no talent. Wrong. That's just hate. Respectfully. And everybody should know where I stand on Tua. No one could claim me to be a Tua and on. But that's not true. That's just hate. With all respect. Pure hate. You can't say Tua has no talent. He's trash. Not true. Wrong. The numbers, the eye test tells you you're wrong. He's not elite. He's not the best. But he's not trash. You could win a Super Bowl with Tua as your quarterback.
Without
True.
McDaniel.
No, you said it. You could win a Super Bowl with Tua at quarterback. Teams have won with less, and Tua's not less. Teams have won with less at quarterback.
Okay.
Brad Johnson, Trent Dilfer. Examples. Okay? Nick Foles. They have done less. And that's a backup. That pisses me off. But it's true.
Rex Grossman.
It starts, of course, we know the GM's the problem. The debate is the head coach right now. That's where it is. People have to stop talking. Tua.
Yeah.
Take care of the GM and the coach. Then you can worry about the other positions, because I know Scotty asked a question earlier. Do you throw the Tua at the new GM and the head coach? Look, he has a contract. You could move on from that contract. But realistically, yeah, the GM and the coach will probably say, okay, we're going to go year one with Tua with us. Maybe go get our guy. Let him sit behind him. Or let's go ride one out year with him. And then let's make our change next year if there's no real change on the roster. I'm worried. This is one thing. Everybody's worried. Oh, Tua's deal. Tua's the quarterback. He was good at being the quarterback. I was worried about the backup position. What bit us in the ass? The backup position.
Tua's only deficiency.
Now it's the coach and the GM.
Tua's deficiency is what he said this week. He was selfish. He admitted that he cost his team the season by being stupid in the Buffalo game. He actually came out and said it. So kudos to give him his flowers that he's been saying. I got ripped for weeks saying that Tua is the cause of the season because he got.
But you see, hold on, very quick. I'm not saying this to argue against you. Tua's wrong, and I'll tell you why.
Because he should have had a backup, but he shouldn't have ducked his head.
There.
But he shouldn't have ducked his head. He shouldn't have.
He's a football player. But this is the thing, dude.
But it pisses you off that he's stupid.
It pisses
like
me
that.
off. You know that we've had these talks before, and I've done it on the show.
You should have had a backup.
You gotta take care of yourself. But that and thank you, Scotty. We're gonna get into that right in the inactives and everything. But very quick, I get it. That pisses me off. But again, this is one thing you can't question about Tua. He's a warrior. He's going to play. He's going to try to win. I can't shame him for being dumb for a second to try to go for a first down and run head first and get twisted like a pretzel against DeMar Hamlin. But I am going to look at Chris Greer and Mike McDaniel going, you know damn well his issues. I mean, look at if you watched the game last night, college football, Georgia versus
Carson Beck getting injured.
It wasn't Beck. It was Stockton. Beck came in, I think.
Oh, Beck. Stockton. Yeah, sorry.
But Stockton went for a run. He got his helmet knocked off. He got right back up, and he I think he did it, or they had to review it to see he was targeting. But yes, exactly that play. Yeah. But he got right back up. He could afford that. You shouldn't have to. That's not what you want. But he could afford it. Tua can't. Now, yes, I could tell Tua until it blew the face, dude, try to be smarter with what you're doing. But damn you if you do, damn you if you don't. Because if Tua would have slid and didn't get the first down, oh, you're a chicken. Oh, he goes head first. You're an idiot.
Never.
Oh, no, not you. I'm just saying in general.
Yeah, Beck
I don't blame Tua. I blame McDaniel.
Yeah, Beck is the starter. I was right.
You have to.
Stockton came in. Beck is
okay. You have to get you had to have had a backup. And Greer and McDaniel decided, no, Skyler's our guy. And that bit them in the ass. Tua limits the offense. McDaniel limits the offense.
Yeah, he does. Let me make a point about McDaniel. When you guys are struggling in a business, you hire there's a big business in the world called business consultants. You need to lose weight, you hire a nutritionist. You need to go to the Jack, you hire a personal trainer. Mike McDaniel has instilled the confidence in Tua Tagovailoa. But that doesn't mean that he has to be at his side for the rest of his life. Because if you look at Sam, if you go take Tua Tagovailoa and you go put him in Minnesota, you go put him in another team with a smart head coach, he'll be successful. He was built. He should have been redshirted his first year.
Yeah.
But don't put the fact that Mike McDaniel is the reason why Tua is successful. Tua was successful with a defensive head coach and Nick Saban. So let's not put it out there. He's guy's been a quarterback for a long time. And we also have to remember, in the NFL, unless you're Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen, even Lamar Jackson at a couple of moments has struggled this year. There's not that many.
I want to say this while it's in my head. I want
to
say this while it's in my head because I'll lose it. And I'm not picking on you, Frederick, man. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you for watching. Just want to say why this is wrong. Okay. Because I get, again, I see where you're headed here. Here's the problem. When Tua's out of the when Tua's out and the Dolphins are scoring 10 points a game, and then he comes in and they're scoring 30 plus points a game, that tells you, no, he does not limit the offense. Not this offense. Okay. That tells you who's really limiting the offense, because your coach has to rely on Tua as quarterback. He can't win when anybody else but Tua as a quarterback. Your run game coordinator as head coach, who never was an OC, never called plays, or was an OC and never called plays. He didn't call plays in San Francisco. Nobody else interviewed him but the Dolphins. That's what limits your offense. It's not Tua Tagovailoa.
No, it's Mike McDaniel in terms of his management. Because what did I say every single game? Look at last week. The
Gotcha, Scotty. Appreciate you.
The halftime adjustments, going into halftime, letting the other team score, not using your timeouts. Bobby, and I want Scotty to answer this because I want Scotty. Scotty's a homer for McDaniel. Support him. Great. Tell me how a head coach could be so bad with time management and managing the clock and managing his timeouts. How do you not get a play call in after 3 years on time? It is constant. 5, 4, 3. Like there's no time to adjust at the huddle because they're so rushed to get it out the playoff. It's insane. It is just unbelievable. Like Dan Campbell, people are talking about when he loses Ben Johnson. You want to know what? The cojones of that head coach, at least there's cojones there. There's no cojones with Mike McDaniel because even when he goes for it on 4th and 1, he doesn't have a play call to do it. He's running the same call he would call on first down. And by the way, I'm sorry to tell you this, relying on Devon Achane behind the line of scrimmage as your constant check down is not ingenuitive coaching. That is someone playing very safe football. Very safe football. And that's not what we hired Mike McDaniel to be. Because if that's how you Mike McDaniel to be, then why do you have Jalen Waddle?
Let me just say this.
And don't tell me they don't play 2 safeties deep for
let me just say, if this team also was not in the position that it was in, if it didn't have a Tyreek and all this cap space tied into this roster, like they were going to make a run, all right? Because a lot of people believe Miami was going to make a run or Miami was going to be in the playoffs. A lot of people believed it, Scotty. We talked about this. So I will admit this. If Miami, but see, he needs to develop a team that's not built to win. Miami's roster was built to win. He did not do that. Miami cannot afford a coach to mature in year 3, especially when you make appearance in the playoffs. You rode high last year, went to you dropped the ball towards the end of the season, and then you get bounced in the playoffs again, first round, and they have a total drop off. Miami can't afford that. Now, is it McDaniel's fault that he was hired and all of a sudden they traded for Tyreek and they went for Bradley Chubb and they Jalen Ramsey and holy crap, did he hate it? No, because he had all these star players. Was it cool during the regular season? Great. But guess what? Now you're on the docket to win. You need to win with these guys. And he didn't do it. He hasn't done it. And he's not going to do it this year. Not only that Miami has to win out, but things have to go in Miami's favor. I truly believe, my opinion, and again, not his fault he was hired for that, but you got to answer to the job. But McDaniel was hired as a scapegoat. He was hired, let's go ahead and bring him in. We'll go get our guy later. He won with the guys. He brought the confidence out of Tua. Yeah, he didn't make Tua better. Like, oh my God, now Tua can make all these plays. No, Tua is what he is. That's why with like Frederick, he doesn't do this. He doesn't do this. He doesn't do this. Tua is what he is. McDaniel instilled the confidence, which brought out a different type of Tua that made him an MVP candidate 2 years in a row at the 8-3 point of the season. But this counts for a whole team. So he needs to continue to develop. Miami can't afford that. But again, here's the problem. Here's what's not fair to him, right? You say, oh, man, we got to fire a coach after 3 years. You can't fire the GM and then marry the head Mike McDaniel to another GM. Then you're basically recycling. McDaniel limited in play calling with Tua. Frederick, I get it. I get what you're trying to say. Have you watched the Dolphins with Skylar Thompson and Tyler Huntley and Tim Boyle at quarterback?
Teddy Bridgewater.
Do you see how limited our offense is when Tua gets out? Then go watch the games when Tua is in. Watch the entire game. All right? I know what you're saying. I see where you're headed. But let's just, okay, I understand. All right? You don't believe in Tua as the quarterback. He shouldn't be your franchise quarterback. I know where you're headed. I understand it. I sympathize with you. I really do. Okay? I understand it, but guess what? Here's the breaking news. He is right now the least of the worries of the Miami Dolphins. Okay? W's matter. Say that. The statistics at the end of the day won't matter. But if you look at the numbers and you take the hater shades off for a second, you say, okay, you know what? He isn't the biggest problem. He may limit he doesn't limit the offense. It may limit the projection of the team, but guess what? It starts with McDaniel. It starts with Greer. Because if McDaniel can't coach a quarterback other than Tua, okay, and he's the number one offense with Tua at quarterback last year, and they've scored 30 plus points with Tua's comeback, averaging 28 points a game. Tua doesn't limit the offense. McDaniel does, because he doesn't know how to coach without Tua. That's not fiction. That's fact. I mean, it's all of there. It's all there to see. And Brett and Scotty and all those who've watched and talked and whatever for years, Frederick, and I know you've been here. I've seen you around. We know. Okay. What's up, Bobby? Bobby, the Die Bar Podcast. Appreciate you, my man. I understand stats don't. I get it. I'm with you. Stats don't matter at the end of the day. What matters is the W. That's what matters to me. Okay? Because you could have a Brad Johnson or a Trent Dilfer or a Chad Pennington or whatever. And let's say Trent Dilfer and a Brad Johnson who won Super Bowls. Are they Hall of Famers? Are they elite? Are they great? No. They were serviceable. Tua's better than them. But you won a Super Bowl with them. But look at your coaches. Look at your team. All right. I go with the eye test. I get it. But go in the eye test in regards of what the Dolphins are doing with Tua and then what they do without Tua. Because Tua's not changing right now. We can't control that situation. But they can control.
So does Jay Fiedler.
Hey, don't hate on Jay Fiedler.
No,
man.
Jay Fiedler has the exact same record as Tua Tagovailoa.
Put Jay Fiedler. You put Jay Fiedler. You could win a Super Bowl with a Jay Fiedler.
Yeah.
All right.
By the way,
that's the point.
Have a good laugh?
Teams have won less, so let's stop pretending.
Bobby, should the Finch Talk Force Network do what the Giants are doing today? You want to hear something crazy about the Giants?
What?
Giant fans have gotten together and have hired planes to fire banners in the sky around MetLife Stadium during today's game that voice their frustration with owner John Mara. They actually have a plane thing. You know, in Florida, Mr. Mara, enough. Please fix this dumpster fire. It's going around the stadium. You know, when you're in Florida, you look up at the beach and you see the plane going with the thing.
Yeah.
That's what they have in New York. They have a thing going in New York. Please fix this dumpster fire. That's classic. That's awesome.
That's the thing. Like, again, I get it. I understand. First off, Sea Devil, thank you for tuning in. Burrow has 36 total wins. Tua has 36. Listen, I understand it.
The Giants,
right?
yeah, maybe Chris
we
Greer.
all want the Morenos and the Rodgers and the Favres and the Burrow looks better, on the outside, whatever. But that's not what it is, okay? Because you could put any of those guys on here. Who's still the head coach leading the way? Okay, who's still the head guy? Because if he can't win with Tua, he's not going to win. If he's not can't win without Tua, he's not going to win with anybody else. He's only coaching one position. It's what it is.
To give kudos to my buddy, because I already knew this, but I think it's an irrelevant stat, because people want to knock Tua. As bad as the offense has been with Mike McDaniel play calling, he still has the best best completion percentage in the NFL.
And I will say, because Bobby's in here right now, Bobby the Die Bar Podcast, awesome dude, man. We had him on East Street Boys for our Thanksgiving episode. If you guys haven't, which I know you probably have, if you haven't seen it, go check out the Dive Bar podcast. Great show, great group of guys, 4 of them sometimes. They got the producer on, Joe Robbie and Ghost of Adam Gase. And they've had player interviews. And I mean, the stuff they got coming up with the guys. Yeah, damn right. Guys, they got a great lineup coming, but they've had Tyreek, Jonnu, and so forth on. And here's just a shout out to Jonnu, who people thought he was kind of he hit his plateau and was kind of flowing under Atlanta, New England, whatever. He has hit a whole other thing. He is one of the top tight ends in football coming to Miami. Compared to what he was before and coming to Miami and coming up here and being one of those players, that gives a shout out. I understand you look at all the tight ends. To me, that's a McDaniel thing. You got Julian Hill, keep going in there. It's Mike McDaniel. Okay. Embry, though, has gotten Jonnu on a whole other level here because Jonnu was doing great with and without Tua. But yeah, we could have gone to the AFC. Look what he did in under Vrabel with Derrick Henry and company. This is what it is. Anyway, inactives for today. Obviously, Skylar Thompson is your emergency third quarterback. He was demoted. That speaks volumes. Tyler Huntley will be your backup. Ethan Bonner is out. Raheem Mostert out. Andrew Meyer out. Jack Stahl. And a surprising one is River Craycraft is out. Very interesting. We should trade up the entire draft and get a Jamarcus Russell. Right? Is Bonner hurt? I don't know, dude. I don't know. I haven't seen anything on Bonner. Raheem Mostert is dealing with something with his shoulder. But dude, it doesn't matter. He hasn't really played.
By the way, I want to just say one thing because I was hard on him last year at the end of the year, but it was really tied to the Tennessee game. I don't care what anybody says. Our defense is almost the same. You maybe trade 4 quarters for $1 for Jerome Baker and for Jordan Brooks and all that. And you had Christian Wilkins. Who has the number 1 ranked defense in the NFL right now? The Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah.
So don't knock Weaver. Don't knock Fangio. They're both going to have top 10 defenses this year. Dolphins weren't even built to have a top 10 defense. They were built to have the top offense, and our offense is in the 20s this year, in the 3rd year of Mike McDaniel. It's simple as this. It doesn't matter what your DC does. It doesn't matter what your OC does. It doesn't matter what your special team guy. In the end, it doesn't. The front of the reason why it falls on the head coach. It doesn't matter what your coordinators do. You keep on flipping out coordinators as much as you want. The head coach is the game manager, and he is by far in the NFL the worst game day manager because the play calling is in his hands. Huh?
Oh my gosh. These people, ever since they showed up on AEW, which I can't stand, but the Boom, the family, and now they're on the Dolphins sideline. They're Dolphin fans. I guess okay. I gotta give them some.
By the way, the play calling. You want to know why you know the way I would forgive McDaniel? You know how I'd give him another shot, Bobby? There's only one way.
Yeah.
You know why Dan Campbell's a successful head coach? You want to know why? He doesn't have a play calling sheet in his hand. He learned how to coach in different areas under Sean Payton. He was interim here. Mike McDaniel thought that he could be a run game coordinator in San Francisco, not have a play call sheet because Shanahan ran it, and show up here and do exactly what Shanahan did. He can't do it. He's not capable. We know the play calling is awful. When you look at Vrabel and you look at Dan Campbell and you look at Bill Belichick and Andy Reid is the only one because Andy Reid is the GOAT right now. He has the right because he's won. It works. Mike McDaniel is so focused on the wrong thing. Instead of managing his football team, he's worried about the next play call, which is not the way to run it.
I agree. You know me. I've been telling you this.
Matt LaFleur doesn't even carry the play call sheet.
Delegate the task. Be the head football coach.
He doesn't know how.
I know. Be the head football coach. He's not. He's an OC, a glorified head coach as an OC.
Yeah.
An OC glorified head coach.
And it doesn't matter. By the way, winning today is not, I don't care. We're all Dolphin fans. Winning today unless you win, winning today, it has no relevancy to the Miami Dolphins, except for potentially
That's not
saving
wrong.
Ross's job, saving Greer and McDaniel's jobs. If I see Stephen Ross dancing to a Waddle touchdown today, when the Dolphins are 5-7, you're going to see me come on this post-game show and lose my mind. Because this guy has been the owner for how long, and you are still excited for this after the money you have spent on Tua, Tyreek, Waddle, Ramsey, Armstead, Chubb. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? They better not give the bag to Holland. If I could trade Hill tomorrow, I would. They need to rebuild. They need to retool in the moment. They're not going to get rid of Tua. They're not going to get rid of Waddle. I would trade Tyreek. Go draft the trench players this year. You need 2 guards. Like if you and I did the exercise, Bobby, of every single position where we are inept, we could go through it and we would have half the roster has to be turned over next year. Because if they do it again like they did this year, they're going to be in the same boat. Because Josh Allen isn't going anywhere. His team got worse with talent. They got rid of their players. They brought Michael Hyde back in the practice squad, but they got rid of most of their secondary. Got rid of their starting center, got rid of their star wide receiver, and they got better. We got worse. The Chargers are going to the playoffs with Jim Harbaugh, are more likely. They got rid of Mike Williams and Keenan Allen, got rid of Austin Eckler, brought in J.K. Dobbins, brought in Joe Alt, and they got better. What do? We're probably going to keep Greer and trade our first-round pick for another star corner because they want to go back to the Byron Jones, Xavier Howard days. It's insane. The same thing over and over. If we are here next year with Toronto, if Toronto comes back, it does not get cut. There's a big problem. If they don't adjust, if they come back with Tyreek and Waddle and Jonnu Smith, and they come back with Javon Achan and Jalen Wright as your lead, and not another veteran guy who could pound the pavement. If they don't get 2 starting power guards, or go draft one and go sign one, and they don't go get trench players because Campbell will be gone, and they don't get a proper nose tackle, it doesn't matter what you do. If you don't have an offensive line and a D line, you will never win. You want to know why the Eagles are winning this year? It's not because of Devontae Smith. It's not because of A.J. Brown. It's not because of – it's not about Jalen Hurts. It's about the lines. Why do the Ravens win? Their lines. Why do you think Lamar Jackson has so much time to run? Why are the Eagles winning? Their lines. Why? Patrick Mahomes, Bobby. Patrick Mahomes has not been great this year. Why have they been playing well? Their lines. It's insane. The football wins in the trenches, no matter what. We have the worst trenches in the NFL, with the exception of Zach Sealer and Calais Campbell. There's not one player on the offensive line I would keep. Jackson's there. He's good. He's decent. He's a draft pick development. Brewer's doing what he can, but he's too small. Patrick Paul's a project. But our lines are garbage. Benito Jones is garbage. I like Chop Robinson. I joke around that he was a bust. Is he improved? But what is he doing for our football team? Joe Alt changes the play. Penei Sewell changes the play. The linemen make a difference. This head coach has his head up his ass. He is the worst head coach for this team for a window of winning. He wanted to be here in 2019? Fine. He is the worst head coach for the moment for the Dolphins. Want to rebuild with him? Great. Go somewhere else. You want to be Dave Canales? Go to freaking Carolina. I want nothing to do with this head coach. Mike, I make you this bet. I make you this bet now, Bobby, and you can't disagree. Even if Skylar Thompson would have been your quarterback this year as your backup, as bad as he's been, if Mike Vrabel was your coach in that 4-game losing streak, the Indianapolis game, we would have won at least half of those football games because he would have used the run. He would never allow the trenches to be the way they are. It's insane. He is a run and gun greatest show on turf. It doesn't work in this NFL. Why did the Chiefs win the Super Bowl last year? It wasn't because of Patrick Mahomes. It was because of the fact that they had a power run game, a superstar tight end, and a great defense. Sean Payton got killed 70-20. He brought in Bo Nix, and what did you do? They don't have any stars at wide receiver. They have Patrick Surtain, but they don't have stars at wide receiver. Javonte Williams is their running back, but they have great defensive line and a great offensive line. And he is utilizing his weapons, and they're winning football games. Every team that is better than the Miami Dolphins this year has two great lines. We have the shittiest line in football. It's as simple as that. And that falls on Greer, and that falls on the head coach, because Mike McDaniel wants star wide receivers and star edge rushers. It's a waste of freaking time. I don't care if we win by 30 today. You're beating up a team without Sauce Gardner and Breece Hall. Great for you. I don't care. You're playing nobody for the rest of the year. What does it prove? They need to clean house. They have some good foundational pieces, but you need to fix the lines. Mike McDaniel's never going to go fix that line. He's never going to go say, I want a guard. Can you imagine if we had Jackson Powers this year, or we would have gotten Barton from the starting center for the Bucs? Are you kidding me? You know what kind of a difference of a line? We don't need Chop Robinson. We need offensive linemen. We need a nose tackle. I don't care about edge rushers. What is Max Crosby doing for the Raiders this year? It's irrelevant. Edge rushers, you can find them. They haven't helped us this year. They haven't turned around a game. The best off-defensive player in the NFL in the last decade was a D lineman. His name is Aaron Donald. It's ridiculous. Trench players win you Super Bowls, not fancy players. Tyreek Hill did not win the Chiefs a Super Bowl. It was Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes and Chris Jones. He was a complimentary player. Stats mean nothing. Stats mean nothing. I don't care about Tyreek Hill stats. I don't care about Jalen Waddle's stats. I don't care about Tua's stats. I care about the lines. The trenches win you football. 4th and 1. Bobby, if we would have gotten that touchdown on a 1st and 10, 1st and goal, 2nd and goal, 3rd and goal, 4th and goal, it changes the dynamics of that football game in Green Bay. But no, Mike McDaniel couldn't come up with one goddamn play call to get 1 yard when his best running back, whether he's injured today or not, got 21 touchdowns, and 90% of them were at the goal line last year. What's he afraid of? He had nothing to lose there. He had nothing to lose by putting Raheem Mostert, Jeff Wilson, or Jalen Wright in there. Jalen Wright and Jeff Wilson did get one touch last week. The two most staunch power running backs you have, you stayed off the field with him. He is, I will tell you this now, and it will never change. He is the worst head coach the Dolphins have ever hired, because he has the most talent and he's done the least with it. Cam Cameron had nothing to work with. He had nothing to work with. Adam Gase had not much to work with. Tua Tagovailoa in his first couple of years had Devontae Parker, who couldn't get separation and had to rely on a slant wide receiver and Jalen Waddle. He had freaking what was his name? Jesse Davis as his left tackle, and he won more. He's winning more. Mike McDaniel at the end of the season, Bobby, will have a losing record. He will have a losing record as a head coach in 3 years. In your window of winning a Super Bowl and winning the AFC East and going to the playoffs, and the only chance they have to make the playoffs again this year is to be the 7th seed, a made-up seed. Stephen Ross probably paid off the NFL to create that position so the Miami Dolphins can sneak into the playoffs. They're not a real playoff team. And who creates the playoff? Mike Vrabel, with the worst offensive line in football, was able to utilize Derrick Henry and Ryan Tannehill to lead to them. So he overcame the GM's worst offensive line build. And what did Derrick Henry have? 1,600 yards. Ryan Tannehill, they made it deep into the playoffs. They were a top seed. They won their division with the worst offensive line because of head coaching. I don't care anymore. I don't care what they do the rest of the season. Mike McDaniel is the worst head coach the Dolphins have ever hired. Period. I had to get off my chest.
You done?
Yeah, sorry.
You sure?
Yeah.
Anything else?
That's it. Sorry, I had to say it. You ticked the nerve. You ticked the nerve. Someone ticked the nerve.
I haven't said a damn thing, so I don't know how I took the nerve.
I had to say it. I had to say it.
All right. Yeah.
I had to say it.
You haven't been
Tell me
saying
what I
it.
said was not right.
Honestly, I zoned out.
Really?
Probably halfway through. Yeah, I think.
Oh,
yeah.
thanks.
You know, I think I.
That hurt my feelings. But can I ask you a second? Who, if you had to look back on it now, Penei
Mhm.
Sewell or Jalen Waddle? Really, think about it now. Penei Sewell. Look at where Penei Sewell is now. Look at Larry. Look at the
Again,
Larry
I'm going to say it
Tunsil-
like this. I'm going to say it like this. He's, what, hearsay, whatever, or, can't change, woulda, shoulda, coulda.
Thank you, Frederick.
I want to say this. First off, you know about me. I'm about building trenches. You move, build in from the inside out. Start the offensive line, move your way back. Same thing. Bill Parcells, when he took over the Miami Dolphins. What are you laughing for? Yeah.
This comment.
All
Because
right.
this guy knows me for 38 years. You should have a conversation with him. You'll understand me after a couple of minutes.
I think I understand it just fine. Again, Bill Parcells was doing it right. He had the right idea. That's all I'll say when he took over the team. First pick overall, took Jake Long. Stud of, again, injuries, came into play, but Jake Long was the top tackle. And if he wasn't, if it wasn't for, whatever, his injuries, he would probably have been one of the best of, there. He was elite. Then you go in the second pick, you go get your quarterback, Chad Henne. You go from there. Again, didn't work out. Again, and he left way before it, because of Wayne Huizinga selling the team. He moves on. So Matt Ryan was the right pick, in my opinion. I wanted Matt Ryan. He was Parcells' guy. No, you're doing it backwards. I understand. Again, you go, oh, but Matt Ryan, look, he was great, man. Look what he did with Atlanta. But look what Miami had been doing. It wasn't working. You go get, you build your offensive line. You build the guys to protect your quarterback. Answer what question? No, I am answering. I'm just saying, what do we go? Oh, should I have taken Justin Herbert over Tua? We're going to do that. Does we really need an answer to that? I'm saying it right now. Should we take Waddle over Penei Sewell or Waddle over, Devontae Smith? And, we start playing this game. No, I'll say it like this. If again, Bill Parcells had it right. He took Jake Long over Matt Ryan. They should have took Penei Sewell, offensive tackle, over the receiver. They didn't. And you know who was running the team at that point? Who was the GM?
Chris Greer.
Who's the GM right now?
Chris Greer.
Mm-hmm. Was that a total rebuild when they fired Flores and hired McDaniel? No, because Chris Greer is the GM. Okay, but woulda, shoulda, coulda. Why are you giving it? Why do we care about that? I'm worried about now and what this team is going to go doing what they're going to do going forward. I'm not going to bitch and moan about 5 years ago. I ain't going to worry about that. Can't change that. Let's talk about what the hell the Dolphins are going to do going forward. Dolphins are 5-7. 5-7. With a ascending player at tight end, Jonnu Smith. With Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. Raheem Mostert, how many touchdowns? No, last year. Say it. All of a sudden you can't talk?
I put myself on mute because I don't want to interrupt you. Because
Gotcha.
I love you. Because I love you.
I got you.
21.
He was right behind Christian McCaffrey. Where's he?
The doghouse.
You are 5-7 with Raheem Mostert, Devon Achane, Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill, Taron Armstead, Jonnu Smith, Tua Tagovailoa, Jalen Ramsey, Calais Campbell, Sealer. You're 5-7. Oh, but injuries. Our quarterback was hurt. You decided we were good with Skylar Thompson, Tim Boyle. You had to go get another quarterback off a practice squad because you didn't have a good backup. You had to go find one. And what did that do for you? Nothing. It's not about what the Dolphins have done. It's not about what the Dolphins did. It's about what the Dolphins are going to do. And they can't continue on the same course with this GM and head coach. They got to make a change. They got to make a change. And starts with the GM. Don't fire the coach and keep the GM. You definitely need to fire the GM first. Anyway.
By the way, if they somehow keep Chris Greer, but let's say they fire Mike McDaniel and they keep Chris Greer, there will be a riot outside the stadium. Like you think
I would rather than fire the GM and keep Greer. I mean, fire the GM and fire and keep McDaniel than fire McDaniel and keep Greer.
Oh my God, you can't give him another shot. But
you could. You could because I could understand. You know where I stand, so it's not like I'm saying something. It could happen because, again, he was put in a situation where he had to win now, and he can't. He can't be what pisses you off. He can't be that third year. First of all, I'm sorry. You don't hire. When you become a head coach, you should be already ready to do the job. You're not. You learn to be a head coach as you're growing through the system. You don't become a head coach and they're like, 3 years like, well, he's still learning. We got to give him time. You're a head coach. I can understand the first year because you got to run multiple staffs and you are running 53-man roster compared to a 3-man room or a 4-man room. I get that. But when you're 3 years in and you're still developing, you're not a football player. You're not a quarterback at 3 years in. You're a head football coach. And you're in a position now that you have to win with the talent of this roster. And if Greer isn't going anywhere and the talk for McDaniel isn't there, the Dolphin fans have bigger issues than Tua Tagovailoa at quarterback. Fact. Because when you're 5-7 with this roster, and it's not because of injuries, in spite of what people want to say, because the Dolphins made the bed that they're sleeping in, you better have some talk about it. And it's not ridiculous. What's ridiculous is being okay with the same old, being okay with mediocrity. That's ridiculous. Because we have some fantasy that they're going to do something great when they haven't. We have some fantasy now. Anyway.
I'll just say very quickly.
Okay.
I have zero faith that they're going to make any changes because this is what we're used to.
Yeah. No, I don't.
I'm giving my opinion. I'm giving my opinion because I'm allowed to have my opinion, and I don't want to hear Daniel. You can say what you want.
Here's huge. This is huge. Inactives for the Jets: Breece Hall, Malachi Corley, Xavier Newman, Sauce Gardner, Braden McGregor, and Quintaz Steigers. Breece Hall, Sauce Gardner, both out. I need to explain something to you. You say you don't care if they win by 30. They better win. If they lose, I better not hear not one excuse from the fan base who are still living on cloud 9. Miami cannot lose this football game today. They better win. They can't lose to this. 3-9. Aaron Rodgers is making documentaries and about, hitting gongs, bells over his face, and I'm so kumbaya, whatever the hell he's doing in his little cave. We're not losing to that. If we lose to that, I better not see that one person go, oh, but we should, oh, but.
Well, if
There
we
better
had
not-
Aaron Rodgers, we would have won. We should have picked him up last year.
Brees Hall, Sauce Gardner, Malachi Corley. We better not. That's right. True. Sauce Gardner's not there. Supposedly one of the top corners in football, according to some. We better see some plays. Anyway.
Who's calling the plays? You're gonna see
Anyway.
check down stage hand all day. Pop, 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 pop. Everyone, H-Hand's phenomenal.
That's a Tua thing.
Yay!
Stop it. That's
Check
a Tua.
down.
That's
Check
a Tua
down.
thing. That's Tua. That
Yeah, but he
plays
leaves
there.
it open. McDaniel leaves that option open for him.
You
every
should.
time.
That's
No,
a
but it doesn't win
that's
you
a smart
football game,
move.
but it will not win you football game.
Doesn't matter. That's on your quarterback.
I know.
The guys have to get open. To me, look, Evan. Look, man, the check down. That's a play. That's a protection thing. Okay, these guys are check it down, try to make a play. Now the screen passes where Tyreek is 5 yards behind the line. That's at a piss. That should be where it's like, oh,
Yes.
But the check down doesn't bother me because I get it. But it's on Tua to go 1, 2. Okay, let me try to air it deep.
No, the thing that should frustrate you the most is that we're better on 2nd and 13 than we are on 1st and 10.
No, and here's our thing, right? I that's what I mean, right? That could happen, and it could, right? Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers, right? But again, if you look at the two rosters, you look at the two franchises, you want the two franchises, you look at them, you go, man, no, wait, Miami's going to win this game. They should win this game. They can't lose this game. That's what I'm saying. I won't comment about it. You got, you know me, Daniel. I mean, it's just what it is, man. It's ridiculous. A 5-7 team at this point in the season, the way this team was and what they could be, that's what's the problem. Bobby, did you see the 2-yard bomb from Noodle to Tyreek? Okay. Evan.
Yes.
I mean, keys to victory right now. 3 keys to victory for Miami Dolphins to win this game today against the Jets.
Real ones.
Real ones.
Not my bullshit.
Yeah, don't do the bullshit.
I'll do the bullshit. Okay.
All
I
right.
apologize. At least I preempted myself, right?
Yeah, appreciate it.
How do they win this football game? Go back to week one of last year. Just air it out. Honestly, they have nothing to lose now. Go back to what you're good at. Throw the football. Open receivers. There's not going to be any strong corners, no strong safeties. I don't want to hear about 2 safeties deep. You have to air the ball out. Air the ball out. Get an early lead. If they win the toss, I'd even take the ball. Take an early 7-0 lead. Put pressure on the Jets. Get the defense to get a stop. Take an early 14-0 lead and win the football game right away. Early start, guns blazing. You need to turn over Aaron Rodgers, and you have to get to Aaron Rodgers. You have to sack Aaron Rodgers, and you have to intercept him. It's really simple. Go back to what worked last year, week 3, week 1 of last year. If you do that, you'll win. If not, you'll lose. Simple as that. I don't want to see a trend. Today's not the day in Miami to do the trenches because you're playing a crappy team, an injured team. They need to win this game in the first quarter. If they don't have a 2-touchdown lead after the first quarter, this is going to be ready for a very frustrating, exhausting football game.
You know, if other defenses could embarrass an Aaron Rodgers-led offense with Devontae Adams and shut them down, Miami's defense better do it today. This better be a statement game from Miami. Miami's offense, let me throw these out here very quick. So the Jets in their last 5 games scored 21, 27, 6, 13, and 21 and 22. Dolphins offense 17, 34, 34, 23, 27. Miami's offense should not have an issue scoring on this Jets defense or moving the ball downfield. Miami needs to protect the ball. Let's just say straight out of this. Miami can't lose to this team. They better not lose to this team. Can't say much to what you said. I think you hit the nail on the head. I think Scotty had something there too. I'm going to roll with Scotty. Defense needs to play. They need to show up. This needs to be a statement game for Miami's defense. And Miami's offense just needs to do enough to win. 27 points should do it. That should win you the game today. If all of a sudden the Jets offense that haven't gotten over 30 in the last 5 games gets 31 and it's 31-27, blow it up. Heads need the roll. Can't lose to this game at home. This is at Hard Rock. You're a 5-7 football team, but you're a better 5-7 football team than that 3-9 Jets team. There's no excuse to lose this football game. Not one. You win it. Evan can't say anything. You won. He'll find something to say. But you win it. There's nothing really to complain about. You did your job. But they better win. That's all. And let's talk about it very quick. I mean, do I really want to do the pick 'em? We can.
Want to pick the other games?
We could. I mean, I did already on check down, but we haven't heard.
You can ask me quickly. I'll do it really fast. I already have
my
pick.
Go ahead. Jacksonville, Tennessee. Minnesota, Atlanta.
And end of Kirk Cousins. They're going to put in Penix next week. Minnesota.
New Orleans Saints at the Giants.
New Orleans.
Carolina at Philly.
He'll be over in the first quarter. Philly.
Shout out though to Carolina for the last couple of weeks, man. Bryce Young's been looking good. Yeah. Cleveland at Pittsburgh.
Divisional game, but Pittsburgh will pull it out. Jameis Winston will make another mistake and pick 6.
Raiders at Buccaneers.
Baker Mayfield, what a guy. The Buccaneers need this. They need to take the lead in the division. Buccaneers pick up the victory at home.
Seattle at Arizona.
Divisional game, tight game, but it's in a dome. It's in Arizona. Kyler Murray plays great at home. I'll take the Arizona Cardinals.
First game that you and I differ on. I got Seattle there. Buffalo at LA. The Rams.
LA is doing what they can, but Matthew Stafford's a great quarterback, but Aaron Rodgers is winning the MVP this year.
Josh Allen. Yeah.
Josh Allen, sorry. What did I say?
Yeah. You said Aaron Rodgers.
I apologize.
It's all right. Yeah.
Josh Allen.
But shout out to, I hate to say it, but the Jets, man. Josh Allen, after all that noise before the season with Stephon Diggs and everybody saying it's going to be a drop-off, he's solidified that spot.
How lucky is this guy? Haley Steinfeld. The guy went to Wyoming. Think about this guy's trajectory. Went to Wyoming. Went to the University of Wyoming. Lives in Buffalo, of all places. Trust me, Bobby, you haven't been to Buffalo. Buffalo are nice people, great wings. It's Buffalo. And he hooked up Haley Steinfeld.
Look, appreciate you, Daniel, man. You know, it's true, bro. We don't always have to agree. And I appreciate you always watching and commenting. You, Scotty, and everybody. That's what it's about. Appreciate you, man.
If it was about an agreement, Bobby and I would have stopped doing a show a very long time ago.
Yeah. Appreciate you, my man. That's what it's all about. Bears at the San Francisco 49ers.
Actually, I think the 49ers are a little bit of a mess here today. Thomas Howard will give a little bit of a jolt to the Chicago Bears, and the Chicago Bears are going to go into Santa Clara and pick up the victory.
Ooh, yeah. Well, see that.
That's my upset of the week.
I like it. Chargers at the Chiefs. I'm
telling you right now, it's weird. The Bills are going to be the 1 seed. I think the Chargers, Jim Harbaugh is going to go into Arrowhead with that staunch defense, and he's just a smart head coach. And I think Jim Harbaugh, what a coach he is. Because you see what Michigan, with all the controversy, look what happened in Michigan since he left. You think Michigan would be as bad as they are this year without Jim Harbaugh? I guarantee you they'd be a top playoff team if Jim Harbaugh was still there, even without J.J. McCarthy. That guy makes Rich Eisen said this a while ago, that he is going to make a team +5. They're going to have 10 wins. They had 5 wins last year. They're going to get the 10 wins. That's because of Jim Harbaugh. The Chargers are going to go in there. He revamped that team, made it a more physical team, and the Chargers are going to go into Arrowhead today and beat the Chiefs. The Chiefs need a kick in the
nuts. He has that defense on high. I mean,
that offensive line.
Chiefs have been teasing a loss for a while. I think this is Buffalo Bills' opportunity to get the first seed, and I think Kansas City will drop it today. I think the Chargers will win this football game, and I think the Chargers are a great example. I mean, look, they traded Mike Williams, they traded Keenan Allen, they brought in Lad McConkey, and so forth. And people are like, oh, who's Herbert going to throw to? Doesn't matter. They're 8-4, riding high with a top defense. So he shows that you could win without all those weapons. And they're doing it there, and I think they do today. They'll get that win, and they will knock the Chiefs down, and the Buffalo Bills will take advantage and get this and take the lead in the AFC. Cincinnati at Dallas.
Cincinnati.
I got Cincinnati as well. I think this is the game that will eventually or will cost McCarthy his job. All right. This is it. Evan?
Yes.
Serious, no bullshit, as you say. Dolphins at Jets at the Dolphins today. Week 14. We've ranted, we've raved, we ranted, we bitched, we moaned. We got it all out of our system.
I'm always smiling, by the way. Have you noticed? I never get upset. I'm smiling.
Where is how do you see this game playing out? What's the final score? Prediction and final score.
I'm not kidding. I think that game in Green Bay took the sails out of this football team. No matter what, Aaron Rodgers has always done well facing Miami. Miami Dolphins, even in the game against New England, even in the game against the Raiders, they kept it close for way, way too long. And that was Drake May, and that was Gardner Minshew. There's still Devontae Adams. There's still Aaron Rodgers. There's still Braden Allen. And there's still the number. One thing we didn't talk about the show. As bad as they are still the number 3 defense in the NFL. The Miami Dolphins are going to lose this football game 23-21.
23-21 Jets for Fitzstanza. Frederick has it 27-17 Miami. 17-10 Jets for color commentary. Shout out to Cooler Commentary. I appreciate him watching, guys. Love listening to him. Man, he brings the fire.
Look at he's lost it too. Color, you want to come on post game? My goodness, this is amazing.
You need to go to Color. You need to go. I got to hear you on his show.
I haven't been invited. Color, I've not been formally invited.
Yeah, Fitz Tailgate, man. Those guys bring the fire.
They invite me. I can go for 5 hours too.
Aaron Rodgers has a 3-1 record against the Dolphins in his career. I'm going to stick to what I've said since the beginning of the year, Evan. And I said the Dolphins were going to split this series. Okay? So I'm spoiling.
Yeah. But I did it for the first 9 weeks, Bobby. Up until like 2 weeks ago, I picked every game to win. Even when I was down, I picked every game to win. And I lied to myself because last season, I said at the beginning of last season when they blew it, that I would never pick them to win next season. And I picked them to win for like the first 9 weeks. I gave up.
Color's asking you, Fitzstanza.
What do you got doing tomorrow, Fitzstanza? Depends on the time. Depends on what time.
So listen, like I've said, I have it. I've said the Dolphins were going to split this series. Even if these teams were riding high right now, I'd still do that. So I'm going to obviously where I'm going to go when the Dolphins play the Jets in a few weeks again. Today I'm going to win here. 27-20 Miami wins this game today.
And that's a good win for you?
A win's a win.
Yes, but you just said if they don't win, they should win by 30. So if
no, I said no. I said the Dolphins have to score at least 20. They have to get 27 points.
Can I ask you
That's
a
what I
question?
said.
If they are playing a team that is struggling as much as the Jets, and they're still struggling, I know it's a divisional game, in the fourth quarter at home in 80-degree weather, they haven't learned their lesson. They're not playing new football. They're playing boring.
I am at the point now, Evan, is that, the Dolphins are who they are, right? I mean, the Dolphins are who we are. So it is what it is. I don't expect too much from this team. You just said they could win by 30 and you're not going to care. So I don't know when it matters to you if it's an impressive win or not. A win's a win. So and I have it 27-20. Cynthia the math girl, I don't know who that is, but
no, Cynthia Freeland from Fox. You know Fox?
Oh, no.
Cynthia Freeland.
Okay, so
you know what I'm talking about? She's always standing there, the hot one, picking scores. You don't know who she is?
No.
Sorry, NFL Network. NFL. I think NFL Network. I can't remember which channel she's on.
I don't know, but but thank you though. Cynthia, the hot one. You don't know her. You don't know who that one is. The hot one. Like no,
I'll drop the link. I'll drop the link.
But no. So there you go. Evan has it. 20. What's it? 24, 23, 20. Was that your thing?
23-21.
23-21 Jets. 17-10 for Kohler. Commentary. I have it 27-20 Miami. And I promise it's not. Oh, there goes Bobby falling for it again. 27-17. Saw it for someone there. Forgive me. I'm losing it. 31-17 for Scotty. It's not that. First off, they got to win this game. I mean, they should win this game. There's no excuse to lose this game against the Jets. But I said they were going to split the series. I'm sticking with it. 27-17 Miami today. They lose, head for the bunker because there'll be a nuclear about to blow. Anyway, guys, we're about 29 minutes away from game time. We appreciate everyone tuning in. This was a fun pregame show. A lot more eventful than I thought it was going to be. I told Evan, man, I can only probably go an hour because my voice is what it is. But it was a great show. Evan can never keep it within 2 minutes. He went on that rant, and that's cool. It's fun.
And I don't prepare. I try not to, but something gets me with this guy. I'm a burnt fan. Like I still wear this stuff this morning.
Let's get Tristan's prediction. He's here standing next to me.
Okay.
Tristan, my son Tristan here, guys. He won his first basketball game yesterday.
I'm my biggest fan.
We won yesterday our first basketball game of the season. But Tristan, we're facing the New York Jets today at Hard Rock. What's your game prediction before we wrap the show up?
I think it's going to be like last year against the Broncos, 60 to like 20 something.
Who? Miami?
Miami.
Whoa, 60 to 20 something Miami. He didn't say that last week, so he says it this week, though. So he even believes Miami should smack these guys around. So there you go. That's
Aaron Rodgers. No. Calais Campbell sack.
There you go. That's Tristan. I'm Bobby Finstalk. That's Finstanza, Tristan Finstalk. We appreciate you all. Like, subscribe, and most importantly, guys, fins up. Appreciate you. Hire that kid.